and welcome to the Raw Preview Podcast. I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Andy Murray and Adam Clery from WhatCulture to look ahead to tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts where we review Raw, SmackDown, the Wednesday Night War between AEW and NXT, pay-per-views, we have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture.
I have a question.
Go on.
Is there a possibility the company could expand its content per-view sufficiently for you to not be able to do a comprehensive intro anymore?
Quite possibly.
Will it be soon?
Well, I already don't mention the fact we also do Wrestling Facts We Didn't Know last week, available on Sundays.
There you go.
So I need to start cramming that one in now, but I'm worried it's just going to be 20 minutes.
3 minutes at the start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, so let's look ahead to tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Before we look ahead to what's been confirmed, Raw is awful, isn't it? It's just dreadful.
Raw is the perfect WWE show in that it veers from segment to segment, from 2 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, and I absolutely love it, Adam.
How do we save Monday Night Raw?
Well, this is the thing. It's had shoots of recovery every few weeks all year, pretty much since they put Heyman behind the wheel. Every now and then you get a good episode, or you get a couple of really good segments in an episode, or one storyline comes out of nowhere and really grabs you, and you think, oh, well, that's good, because if they've got that, they can build on that. If they just start steering things in the right direction, then it'll be fine. But what inevitably happens is, whenever they get a good thing on the go, they ruin it to an extent. Or whenever they happen across something really good, it's not then consistently utilised. So there's always, good stuff in there. It's just that it's never sort of allowed to flourish. And the stuff that isn't good is, maintained, relentlessly until it's unwatchable.
Yes, what are we going to get this week on the ongoing Lana Lashley Rusev saga?
I can't wait. Bobby Lashley's going to take her out for a froyo, but it's not going to be yogurt. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. That's the thing about Paul Heyman. The thing about Paul Heyman, is we've seen the good and bad of him in spades since he came back. The guy has always been very ahead of the curve. He was obviously responsible for a game-changing promotion in ECW. SmackDown 6 was great. Lots of great stuff throughout his career. Guy's done a lot of terrible crap as well. And we're seeing some of that now with the cucking angles.
Now, we've got a lot of issues Monday Night Raw, as we mentioned. Lana, Rusev, Lashley, Well, the thing is, the tag team wrestling is quite easily recoverable now. You've got the Viking Raiders as champions. AOP are Monday Night Raw.
Don't do this to you. Don't do this to yourself. Every time there's a new set of tag team champions, we have the conversation, so can they be the tag team to bring back tag team wrestling? And they'll always go on Twitter and be like, yeah, we're finally going to make these belts worth something. But even now, other, if it was the Revival or was it the OC, quote tweeted the last people to do that. I'm like, yeah, best of luck with that. And we thought, oh, hang on, they're really hot on Rude. He wants to give Rude something to do. So Rude and Ziggler's a weird tag team, and it just kind of bury the rest of the division. But at least, hey, they might bring back some tag team wrestling. You can do some great matches with those two, and that's already over and done with. It's just no.
As you mentioned, there are occasionally good segments. I'm not talking about tag team wrestling anymore. I've accepted that. You talk about the occasional good segments and obviously fantastic matches. The issue with Raw and WWE on the whole is never between the ropes.
Never. Literally never.
It's outside of the ring and what's said in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing about WWE is that, they don't have your stunning 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome classics, but the wrestling's rarely bad. When it is bad, it's a catastrophe, the Fiend and Seth Rollins, and it's hilarious, so who cares?
Well, let's talk about the Fiend and Seth Rollins, because arguably...
Do we have to?
Let's talk. Let's get it out there.
Can we just point out...
Let's work it through.
Can we just point out as well, that in week 1 proper of the new brand split, the Fiend, a SmackDown wrestler, is hanging out on Raw, and I know that's because he's going to be Crown Jewel and all that stuff, but they've broken it already. That's ridiculous.
We looked at the actual scheduling. He's actually scheduled to appear on pretty much every Raw until November.
Good.
It's just it's unbelievable.
They can't even follow their own rules.
I know. But arguably, like you say, the central piece of Monday Night Raw is that Universal Championship. And the guy holding that belt right now, as much as people wanted to see or perceived a double turn in the main event where he burnt down the Firefly Funhouse, burn it down and all that.
Yeah, did you get that? Down?
Yes, I got the double meaning eventually. Andy explained it to me on several occasions, as did you.
Yeah, his thing is burn it, and it's got, honestly, people didn't give that enough credit.
But it's not a double turn. That's been confirmed by Brian Alvarez.
Yeah.
So what is next for them as we head towards Crown Jewel?
Wait, hang on. This is the thing I never understood about that double turn pattern. How was the Fiend a heel?
Exactly.
Finally, this is his long road to redemption. Now people love him again. He's been the only over thing on that brand for all the weeks building up to that. He was He was not getting booed, and he wasn't like. I know they gave him a match with Balor, but it's not like Balor was this like white hot baby face, and he's like bullied him, and people were like,
Just a guy.
no.
Yeah.
It's like, what, people were supposed to mourn the loss of Jerry Lawler, like.
The thing is,
Oh no, he's hit Kane, not Kane.
The amount of people who said to me, no, come on, give this a chance. No, I've watched WWE for so long now, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah, I love that level of optimism, and I wouldn't for the life of me ever want to try and beat that out of anyone, because if you've still got it, you're very special. You're very special, and God bless you.
You've still got it.
I really want this now. You could argue that it's reached this point already, but now after the Hell in a Cell and after getting your house, I would really love this to go for a full-on detour through Wrestle Crapville. I want clown skits. I want people getting literally murdered. I want Rambling Rabbit rolling Seth up and somehow becoming Universal Champion. And then dying, because that's what he does. I just make it as crap as possible. That's more fun.
I want them putting Bo Dallas in the mask and then being like, well, actually, there were two separate people all along. That's what I want.
Twist.
I can genuinely see them, though, turning around this week and just having the Firefly Funhouse back again.
Yeah.
Because arguably you could say, well, it's sort of
spooky,
a figment of Bray's imagination, which he also had Seth walking straight into.
Yeah.
But it also would reflect WWE's, they'll have forgotten about that by this week, booking anyway.
Yeah, it kind of would, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that just be the biggest slap in the face if they're just like, that's fine. What are you talking about? It didn't actually happen.
You imagine the conversation in like the writing room. It's like, right, so this week I want to open with the Firefly Funhouse. And the back goes, oh, sorry man, we burned that down last week. You burned it. Well, did Rollins do it? That's quite clever, actually. But anyway, we're going to open with that this week. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, the thing is, what sort of a reaction is Seth going to get, even if he says,
Nothing.
We're here in Shelbyville or wherever?
The thing is, like, the ring entrance will get a burn it down pop because it's fun to shout and all that stuff, but, like, just mild jeers. Like, I don't think he's going to be this reviled figure overnight like a lot of people have made out, but the thing with Seth Rollins is that Seth Rollins, as the top champion, has never been over to any meaningful level. No. He gets some chance, he gets a good pop here and there, but he's not a needle mover. He doesn't pop ratings, he doesn't do this, he doesn't spike house show attendances and stuff. I don't think he was ever over enough in the first place to spark the like widespread boo reaction that a lot of people think he's going to get. I do think he'll get some
indifference more than anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like Roman Reigns, like post. When the Roman Reigns hatred started simmering down a few years later, when everyone was like, okay, well, he's going to be the guy. I think it's at that level, although people are just tired of it already. And he's only been like, a subject of backlash for about a month.
I think what Andy says is absolutely spot on. I think we all, like, Seth Rollins has had the entire Roman Reigns top guy hatred, revulsion, like, thing, but it's been condensed so quickly. Like, people were on board with it at the start, like, but at least we're getting the belt, etc., etc. It's better than Brock, I guess, than to like, oh god, I actually hate what they're doing with this. Oh god, it's so lame. Oh, do you know what? I can't even be bothered to do anymore. Like, he's condensed Roman's like 3 years WrestleMania main eventing into just like 4 or 5 months.
How has he done that though? Because I remember SummerSlam.
Because he's really lame. Because he's really like, you can't even get annoyed at him. Like, at least with Roman, it was like, oh, it's the bit. There was a thing. There was some presence to it. Yeah. Even when you didn't like it, there was presence to it.
And he'd like no seller buckle bomb or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just with Rollins, it's just like
big dog.
He's nothing.
And is it also the element of, as much as Roman, well, not through no fault of his own, we should add, akin to Seth a little bit here, through no fault of his own, he wasn't the one saying, I want to be shoved down everyone's throats. I should be in the main event of WrestleMania 3 years in a row, right? At least when you stopped watching wrestling, he wasn't there as an annoying little gnat.
Yeah, Roman wasn't.
Go, all right, well, enough wrestling for me. Let's just go on Twitter.
Roman wasn't all over Twitter telling you the finish to Crown Jewel where he speared Brock out of the cell was actually like really clever, and if you've been paying attention, he actually did it the thing first, so it's actually spot on.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is a grown adult man, I think, is the difference between him and Seth Rollins.
You know what I mean?
Reigns is a pro.
I realise we're kind of circling the drain here when it comes to Seth, Raw and The Fiend. And I'm fairly certain that when I was off the day after Hell in a Cell through medical issues, considering what that main event did to me, you literally did, how do you rehabilitate or heal The Fiend? Is there any way back for him now as we head towards Crown Jewel?
I'm hoping you remember what I said, because I can't. But this is the thing about, especially with WWE, right? It's got this, by rights, any other company had gone through the creative malaise that it had would be dead. But it's too big to fail on that. You have to like it has too much money to ever fail like that. It's got too much exposure to ever fail like that. So they've just kind of ridden through this absolute dreck period of their history. And the problem with it is that literally the way you really rehabilitate the Fiend and the way you rehabilitate Raw is you just do literally good. Like if tonight's episode of Raw,
right.
is good, we'll all be talking about, oh, Raw's back. And so long as it's like fine after that, it doesn't matter. You forget how bad it was.
Even if there are the bad few segments, they're overall good.
So long as the overall show tonight is good, and then next week the overall show is good, and the overall show, and it's just like all you've got to do is just do it better because every single week they get a clean slate. We will forgive it all.
And as with a lot of pay-per-views, finish on the right note.
Yeah.
The amount of times that they finished and you go, oh, that's left a bad taste in the mouth.
I'll put it this way, right? Before the Firefly Funhouse stuff started debuting, Bray Wyatt was the same conversation every time he came up. Done it, boring, hasn't worked, not scary. He's lost every feud he has, he loses. They've ruined him. He could have been great, he could have been this, but he's not all that good in the ring anyway. Like, it's done. It was a shame. We got excited about Bray Wyatt. We thought it would work, but it's just going to be the Wyatt family thing over and over and over again. Went away, came back with a good gimmick, had a great match against Finn Balor, hottest thing in wrestling. All was forgiven as soon as it was good. And that's the one thing WWE will always have. So long as it's fine next week, it doesn't matter.
And I hate that. Like, I hate that they've conditioned...
it's so unfair.
It's terrible. I hate that they've conditioned fans to the extent where it's just week by week because they don't tell long-term stories. They don't. Like, you can make up headcanon nonsense about how this thing happened 2 years ago and now it's being revived and all this stuff. They don't tell... There's no evidence whatsoever to support the idea that they tell long-term stories. It's week to week. It's almost like a sketch show. Like, just forget about that crap that happened because it'll all be fine. But the problem is, the Fiend came into Hell in a Cell operating at like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. They can rehabilitate him to a certain level, but he's going to be a 7, you know? And then he goes down again. He's going to come back as a 5. And like a year from now, I would be amazed if we weren't sitting here talking about him in the same way that we spoke about the original Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Like as recently as 8 months ago.
Yep, I agree with that.
It sucks.
It's just, it's absurd, but they know enough people will be back next week, and they know we'll all be back next week. That it doesn't matter. I will say though, this, if you ever want to sum up like this problem with long-term storytelling, right? When they did Shorty G, people were like, "Oh my god, they actually copyrighted that name. They put the patent in for Shorty G." Months ago, and as soon as they did it, they started doing all these Chad Gable as short jokes, and we're like, "Wow, that actually constitutes long-term story."
For them, it most certainly does.
They clearly had this idea months ago to call him Shorty G, and they've built gradually and slowly to that over a number of weeks and across a number of feuds. Every victory and defeat has informed that narrative in his head that he is short, and then eventually the payoff: I am Shorty Gable. No, wait, let's shorten that. I'm Shorty G.
So are you arguing that they'll come into work this week and gone, right, now that Shorty G stuff's out of the way, Universal Championship, we could probably do with sorting something out here. Let's move on and talk about Crown Jewel.
Hey.
Team Hogan versus Team Flair, of course. Team Hogan, Reigns, Rusev, Ricochet, Ali, and Shorty G. Team Flair, Orton, Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and question mark. Who will be the final member, I do believe announced tonight on Raw, for Team Flair at Crown
Triple
Jewel?
H.
Charlotte.
It's Triple H. Come on, like, yeah, this card is very low. I know Flair and Hogan are old, but it's very low on crusty old dudes competing.
Yeah.
There's no Undertaker. There's no Kane with his wig falling off.
No
There's
Goldberg.
No Goldberg. No Sting out of nowhere. There's no crazy old dudes. There's no Shawn Michaels. It needs a crusty old dude. Who do you call on but the crusty old dude who loves dragging his crusty old arse into the crusty old spotlight?
And burying all of those people.
Burying everyone. He's mates with Ric Flair. He stood up for him in the Batista feud. It's Triple H. It's Triple H. Come on, it's Triple H.
It's Triple H. It is Triple H. The thing is,
So that's going to be the main event then? Is the revelation it's Triple H?
Yep.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's a great shout.
And we're all expected to pop for it as well.
Yeah.
One thing I always notice about Triple H, like saying he's this crusty old dude now, I always think it's weird that the older he gets, like, pecs are fine, arms are fine, traps are fine, his entire upper body is fine. His arse is withered away to, like, all the padding on it's gone now. He looks like Hank Hill from behind.
He
used to be squatting.
It's because he always tenses it when he does the crotch chop.
Is that it? He just eroded it all away.
Of course, like, you know, like, temper this crusty old dude chat a little bit because he's in much better shape than I am at any point in my life, and he's like 50 odd. So, but it's Triple H. It's Triple H.
I was going to say, I had all these questions about, this is a real opportunity to elevate a mid-card and work with this team and really, establish heels and
crown
faces.
jewel, man. Come on.
I can tell you this, they've put Ali and Shorty G in it already, so as far as they're concerned, they're doing their bit for the mid-card.
I'm just going to move rapidly on. Tonight we are promised Andrade versus Sin Cara.
So
Promised. So you mean there's no chance it can't happen?
There's no way
That's
they
a
bait and
guaranteed
switch
cast
this.
iron.
It's so good to see the hardest man in wrestling, Sin Cara, back on WWE television, fresh off knockout backstage victories over Chris Jericho, Sheamus, various others.
Del Rio? Did he fight Del Rio?
He probably beat up Del Rio. Who's the other one? That dork from the... I actually really like him. What's his name?
Aiden English.
Simon Gotch. Simon Gotch. Threw a Coke can at his head or something. God bless you, Sin Cara. Andrade's going to crush him, though, isn't he?
Yes, I'm hoping this is because they always seem to book Andrade versus. I'm fairly certain they've booked him against Sin Cara about 4 or 5 times
For the banter.
where they go, right, okay, this is the start of the push now. We'll have him beat Sin Cara, which is establishes him.
This is the start of the push. You beat Sin Cara. Next up, the main event.
That's not even climbing the first rung of the ladder. It's propping the ladder up against the wall, isn't it? Beating Sin Cara.
It's not even propping the ladder.
Getting out of the van.
That's putting the trampoline next to the ladder.
I was going to say, starting with Sin Cara is the equivalent of not propping the ladder up, not even testing the wall, just going, I need to make sure I don't let this ladder fall over. I have to be mindful.
But I'm. Is there any? I'm clutching at straws
I'm dying to
here.
see what the end of the sentence is. Is there any what?
Is there any
hope?
reason to hope for Andrade to be given a proper push on Monday nights? Now with all the with the focus being on SmackDown.
The answer to this question is the same as the answer to every question of this nature. It's always foolish to hope for proper pushes in WWE because there's no such thing as a proper push in WWE unless your name is Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, or in more recent times Becky Lynch, and that's it.
Shame it, man.
Shane McMahon. Yeah.
Rey Mysterio is back tonight.
How long has he been gone? A week?
He was on TV a week ago.
He's back on Monday Night Raw, I should
Right,
say.
okay.
But I sense, as much as they're all hyping this up on WWE.com, I'm like, here he is, he's back. This is 619. He's just there to shield the fact they've got Kane versus Brock on Friday night, isn't it?
Do some talking for Brock.
Not even real Kane either, is it?
No.
That's
Knock off Kane.
Knock off Kane, other Kane. Not even a wrestler Kane.
Baby Kane.
Baby Kane. Little Kane.
Like, if you're going to have Rey Mysterio returning, why not have him just have another barn burner against Andrade?
Yeah, let them settle their feud and go, here's us being idiots again because stuff that never happens. But, let them go 25 minutes and,
Got 3 hours to kill.
It's just so easy to book WWE, isn't it? Do Rey versus Andrade. Tell you what, you want to start a big push for somebody, beating Rey Mysterio is a pretty good way to start.
Yeah, and it'd be fun. It'd be better than watching that, no. Backstage segment number 5 in which Bobby Lashley fingers Lana.
Right, let's talk.
Bobby Lashley's never fingered anyone in his life.
The size of those fingers, you
That's not a thing. But I would imagine Bobby Lashley does better work with his fingers than I do with my leg.
Bobby Lashley's so ripped, he's probably got biceps on his pinky. He's just a machine.
I want to move rapidly on. Tonight we are getting Street Profits versus
Can of
the
hairspray
OC.
with a cap still on, I heard.
So
An angry Pringles tube.
who will be the Street Profits' mystery partner tonight?
Can we say what we were saying before we went on air about this? Because it just will be, won't it? It'll be someone who Vince has looked at and gone, oh, you look like you'd be in the Street Profits. That'll do. And if you don't know what I mean by that, you do know what I mean by that.
Well, it's if their mystery partner after this week of teasing and the fact they were like, we need someone to take on the OC. Who could we possibly take on? Gallows, Anderson, and Styles with. If they get Cedric Alexander or Ricochet in there,
it's going to be one of those two guys purely because, aside from the one we've joked about, it's going to be one of those guys because they have established sort of beef with AJ. So it would make sense kind of from a storyline perspective, even though it wouldn't be particularly exciting.
Although, boys, Rey Mysterio is back.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Rey Mysterio is back. Okay.
Burn it down. That's Seth Rollins. Booyaka.
Spanish for burn it down. No habla non inferno.
a few more.
I don't speak fire.
Yeah.
I barely speak English, so don't ask me.
Is there any chance that this is going to be some shock return or anything? I mean, they want the smoke. They could have Matt Riddle.
Rob Van Dam. Hey.
Is there any chance of anything like that, or do you reckon it's just going to be by the numbers?
Hang on,
Because Ricochet, actually, no, it's not going to be Ricochet. He's in Team Hogan.
Sorry, 1 minute. No.
It's going to be Cedric Alexander, isn't it, looking at that?
Yeah, it's going to be Cedric. 100%.
Hey, look, as with everything WWE, though, I am cynical and think that will be Cedric Alexander. If they want to prove me wrong and get somebody great in, cool. Make it Shayna Baszler. Go full bander.
What if it's someone really weird? What if it's like Rhino? Like,
What if it's Ryback? And they just do a backstage promo of him sitting in his car eating like 400 chicken nuggets with a
burger again.
Yeah, just like, oh, you guys are really hungry for these chicken nuggets. What's the deal? Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for something dramatic. And to be fair, Cedric Alexander against AJ Styles is a great match. They've just done it a lot, and he's lost a lot.
Copy paste booking, isn't it?
Anyway, right, let us know your thoughts ahead of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Who's going to be the mystery partner? Who's going to be the final member of Team Flair? And how on earth do we save Monday Night Raw? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there. Follow all three of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Honeyco because that's who Sin Cara used to be. Remember when they had those bicycles?
Yeah, I remember. You can follow Adam Clery at
Adam Clery, Clery.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all, as I said, at WhatCulture WWE. Join us tomorrow for the Monday Night Raw War
Monday
review.
Night Raw War.
The Michaels are both dead, so I guess I'm on that.
I missed the war.
Am I on that?
Probably.
Yeah, they're both dead, aren't they?
This office is dropping like flies. Mate, thanks to Andy Murray and to Adam Cleary. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
Goodbye.